Chapter 25. Ground Control to Major Jameson. African Restaurant, Montgomery Road. Penny scoops some Monsieur Watt up with the last piece of injera and pops it into her mouth. She sits back, happily chomping, satisfied with her meal. Jameson forks the last of his meal into his mouth and falls back in his own chair, smiling.
Wow. So good. So filling. An Ethiopian dish?
Yeah.
I never would have guessed I'd end up loving traditional African food.
You mean you've never tried African food before?
Well, I ate some local cuisine when in Africa recently, and one other time with Tafari, in here.
Penny looks momentarily concerned, but she tries to hide it with a smile.
So, your trip to Zimbabwe, Ghana, was your first time in Africa?
Yes?
Penny's smile fails. Her eyes don't match. They show her concern. Jameson becomes uncomfortable as he reflects on the memories of those African missions. He looks down woefully at his plate.
Sorry. I know that was a traumatic time for you.
I'm okay. Still coming to terms with it all.
Social media is going crazy over Kendra Jones. I think generally people are sympathetic, but there are a lot of people who are saying she got what was coming to her, that the Lions won.
Don't remind me. I've seen the polls.
You seem outraged by the support we have generated.
Are people now condoning murder?
Haven't they always? Your visit to the abattoir should have taught you that. Murdered animals hanging on hooks all around you. And then there are wars, invasions, collateral damage, scarcity, public executions, capital punishment. So it's okay for the public to condone killing people and animals for whatever reasons the state drum up. But it's not okay for you to kill the man who murdered Tafari's mother.
What? I didn't kill him. Ace.
No, not Ace. The White Devil was going to kill him. There is a difference, believe me.
Ace is the White Devil.
Obviously, but my father, he changes, switches, like he becomes someone else, something else.
Yes, he becomes someone capable of torturing a man to death in the most awful, inhumane way imaginable.
My father didn't kill him, remember? Yes, he was in the process, but you shot and killed him.
It Ace. Sorry, the White Devil was torturing the man, luring him into a meat grinder for Christ's sake. I had to put the man out of his misery, his agony.
Why? Don't you see this is why we're gaining public support? Some people deserve to die. Vigilantism is accepted in many parts of the world. The law is lenient and the public condone it. Tyrants, bankers, elites, murderers, rapists, drug dealers who get away with their crimes. The ones who can buy their freedom or seem to slip through the net, like Ankara. When the law, the state, fail to provide justice, people take it into their own hands to seek recompense. No law, no reasoning will change that.
Yes, but there's taking the law into your own hands, and then there's torturing people to death in a meat grinder.
It's no more gruesome than our heroes in the armed forces using napalm, cluster bombs, or tomahawk missiles, or torturing prisoners of war, or the creeping insanity of Gitmo, or the CIA waterboarding detainees until they drown, or strapping a man to a chair and firing 2,000 volts through his body, or stoning a woman to death in the street, and so on. We tolerate torture and murder all the time, just as long as we can justify it through our selective moral code.
Jameson smiles and just shakes his head.
You've got an answer for everything, don't you?
Penny smiles.
Do you want me to answer that? I was taught well.
Penny says, staring deep into Jameson's eyes.
By my father.
Okay.
Jameson nods.
So you're not in the least bit concerned that your father minced a person? Or burned a person's eyes out? Or spiked a man's medicine with an acid that burned him from the inside out? Penis first.
Yes, it's brutal. He is stronger than I. I couldn't take the examples that he is making to that level, to be that creative. But like he says, sometimes it takes a psychopath to kill a psychopath.
Jameson shakes his head.
Besides, the people my father target do deserve to die. They are self-serving scum that do nothing but harm the animal kingdom, our environment, and the rest of the human race. A royal, a bank manager, and a laird. Overprivileged, money-swindling criminals ready to plunder and pander to their peers for profit. All three of them were avid supporters of lifting hunting bans and weakening animal rights legislation. The P&G torturer? Say no more. And the master criminal, Wang Xian, also an endangered species killing pedophile. These people are inhumane, beyond reason and rehabilitation. Need I go on?
And the McDonald's CEO? Hardly a master criminal. He seemed nice. A family man.
Oh, come on. How many families has he helped destroy through peddling McDonald's disease? How many animals' lives were snuffed out while he was on their payroll?
And should we leave out Minister Shit? Minister Shit? It doesn't seem right not to mention her.
Why? She willingly took responsibility and gave the go-ahead for the barbaric and needless massacre of hundreds of thousands of seals, year in and year out, despite the public outcry and the warnings and recommendations of conservationists, wasting money and resources on an unnecessary and inhumane dying industry.
Jameson shakes his head again, at the turmoil in his conscience.
So what has all this murder achieved?
Are you walking around with your head up your ass? We've helped put the nail in the coffin for the sealing industry. Public condemnation is at an all-time high. No one has stepped forward to fill Shiate's position, and it looks unlikely that anyone will. We hacked the Canadian government's Department of Fisheries and Oceans mainframe, read their personal emails. They know their ship is sinking, and no one wants to affiliate themselves with the hunt. The same goes for McDonald's. Their profits are plummeting, despite their superficial renovations and their, "Oh no, don't worry, we're different now," much better, honest PR campaigns. The fear that the White Devil is creating is working. It's bringing light to the injustices served on animals by human activity and greed. The White Devil's methods may be extreme. Yes, it does worry me what my father is capable of. Yet it is what we are all capable of, given the right conditioning or circumstances or trauma. But he's no terrorist. He does not target innocent civilians. We are very selective with our targets. By ridding the world of these psychopaths, he's sending a message of zero tolerance.
Okay, I get what you are saying. He's a vigilante, a good murderer. The thing that bothers me is once the good psycho has killed the bad psycho, in the end you're still left with a psycho. And who deals with the remaining psycho? Another psycho, and a never-ending chain of psychos and death.
Well, you dealt with Ankara. Do you feel like a psycho?
Jameson sighs and lowers his head.
You know, I'm not sure what disturbs me most. The fact that I shot and killed the man, or finally admitting to myself that a part of me wanted to kill him. Just watching him sitting there, cowering below the towering mountain of shit that he had created from his god-awful rancid bowels. I couldn't help but consider his life. Logging, stripping the rainforest, destroying ecosystems, destroying biodiversity, and countless species of wildlife. Forcing Tefari's people off their land. And of course, murdering Tefari's mother. And then he became the manager of an illegal abattoir, not only killing more animals, but people's pets. My moral programming had me on autopilot. Because underneath, a part of me was thinking that this man has spent his life causing death and destruction and misery. I was ashamed to admit it. I remember looking at his bloody, whimpering face as he begged for his worthless life. I shouldn't have tried to stop Tefari.
No.
Penny says, and she leans over the table and strokes one side of Jameson's face. Jameson is surprised to find himself resting his own hand upon hers, and how natural it feels.
I'm glad you tried to stop him.
Penny smiles.
I see the toll that the devil is taking on my father. I see the inner turmoil and pain. I'm glad Tefari does not have to go through the same thing. And so is he.
Yes.
He told me so. Don't get him wrong, Tefari is glad that Ankara is dead. But he realizes that he is no killer.
Jameson smiles through his sadness. Penny gently pulls her hand away and sits back in her seat. There is a pause as they reflect on their conversation.
You called me Melissa when you first saw me?
Penny says delicately.
Yes, I suppose I did.
Penny sits quiet, patiently.
When I turned around in the phone booth, when I first glimpsed your face, you just looked uncannily like someone I know.
Yes. Tefari told me about this special girl.
Jameson looks troubled.
Not so special?
Penny asks.
Oh, she is special. It's just, I had temporarily forgotten her name. Scared me for a moment. But when I saw your face, it came right back to me. Like that.
Jameson says, clicking his fingers.
I just can't figure it out.
Penny's expression reverts to her previous concern. Pained.
So, this special girl, her name is Melissa?
Jameson stares off into space, trying to recall his wife's face. He searches his memory, which takes him back to his apartment. She is in bed, stirring from sleep. He searches for her face, but his mind settles on Penny's face. He shakes his head in confusion.
I don't know. Am I losing my mind? I can't recall my own wife's name. Seems like now I can't picture her either.
Jameson begins to get restless in his seat.
This is ridiculous. I have to phone her. Straighten my memory out once and for all.
He rises out of his chair to leave, but freezes, and then slumps back down in his seat, looking more baffled than ever.
Something wrong?
I've only just realized. Before, when I was in the phone booth,
Yes.
Penny says, looking worried.
I called my wife's number. The phone rings behind me. I turn around and you're standing there?
Yeah?
That's just a weird coincidence, is it?
Perfectly plausible happenstance.
Jameson stares into Penny's eyes, but she holds his gaze.
Can I borrow your phone? I'd like to make a call.
Sorry, I've no credit.
They stare at each other for a moment more.
Well, can I at least look at your phone?
Penny begins to look uncomfortable.
Why? That's such a weird thing to ask.
Is it? Can I see your phone? No, you fucking weirdo. Seriously? I could say it's just as weird to refuse to show it to me.
Penny stalls for a moment. She reaches into her jacket pocket and pulls out her mobile. She holds it up for Jameson to see. Jameson rolls his eyes and extends a hand to take the phone from her. Penny pulls her hand back.
Penny, let me see your phone.
Jameson says, losing his patience. Penny holds it up, next to her.
There, you can see it. Now, can we just pay the bill and...
She starts looking for the waiter. Jameson surges forward and snatches the phone out of her hand.
Hey!
Penny protests. She tries to reach for it. Jameson is already swiping the screen to unlock the phone.
Give me the phone!
Jameson looks down at the screen.
Don't look at it.
Penny says, her voice softer, almost pleading. But it is too late. Jameson has already seen the screensaver. A picture, a close-up shot of his wife. The name and her face finally connect in his mind. She is posing and cuddling someone else, a younger-looking Penny. They look strikingly similar. Jameson looks up at Penny, confused.
What the hell is this?
Now, Jameson, just listen to me.
Penny says, her voice trembling.
It's Archer, remember? That's twice you've called me Jameson today.
Penny's eyes glisten with anxiety.
That's my wife, Melissa.
Jameson says, looking to the screen and then back to Penny.
What are you doing in a picture with my wife?
Jameson frantically thumbs his way to the mobile's menu and finds a folder named My Images Videos and opens it. He quickly flicks through more images of his wife. Close-ups, almost selfie style.
What? Are you stalking my wife or something?
No, please. Listen.
He finds a video and plays it. His wife addresses the camera.
Hey, you sweet, sweet husband. Thank you for my Christmas present. A new phone. I love it. Just wanted to tell you that. And I love you.
The video ends, and Jameson looks up at Penny.
Did you hack her phone and steal her pictures and videos?
No.
Then explain this!
Keep your voice down.
Hang on. This is my wife's phone. I recognize it. I remember now. She sent that video to me to thank me for buying it for her.
Penny hesitates, nervously.
Yes.
Yes? What do you mean, yes? What do you know? You stole my wife's phone? Where is she? What have you done with my Melissa?
Please calm down.
Calm down. I'm about to make the biggest scene this place has ever seen. If you don't give me some answers, where is my wife?
Penny takes a deep breath and lets it out.
I didn't want you to find out this way.
Jameson pauses, trying to work out that statement. He shrugs.
I know who your wife is. But do you?
Jameson looks more confused than ever.
Of course I do.
He says, screwing up his face.
It's Melissa. Melissa.
He repeats, as the name begins to sound more true.
Yes, my wife, Melissa.
When was the last time you saw her?
Jameson recalls the memory of the last time he saw his wife. In their apartment building. She was in bed. He kissed her goodbye. But in his memory, as he pulls away from her embrace, he sees only Penny's face. Or is it Melissa's face? Is Penny Melissa?
No!
Jameson blurts, looking dazed. He finds a moment of clarity and studies the picture of his wife's face.
Melissa is my wife. It's always been Melissa. I don't know why I thought you were.
Jameson looks at the phone and then at Penny.
But it still doesn't explain why you have her phone.
Penny grimaces.
Don't you remember at all?
Remember?
You gave it to me.
I don't recall, actually. Why would I give you my wife's phone?
Because it's special to me.
A tear rolls down Penny's cheek.
Why is my wife's phone special to you?
Because
Jameson waits on tenterhooks.
your wife
Yes?
is my mother.
Jameson just stares blankly at her, continuously shaking his head.
What?
He blurts, in a deranged chuckle. Penny nods her head. She seems genuine, sincere.
My wife? Is your mother?
He says, looking confused again.
But forgive me, your mother died, did she not? Years ago.
Yes,
More tears stream down Penny's face.
as did your wife, Melissa. Remember?
Jameson shakes his head in disbelief.
My wife is alive.
Please, keep your voice down.
I saw her a few weeks ago. Kissed her goodbye as she lay, alive and well, on our bed, in our apartment.
Your apartment? Where?
New York. That's none of your business.
Jameson's memory quickly recalls his conversation with Black.
New York.
Black had explained that Ace's wife had been killed in New York.
Another coincidence?
He utters under his breath and to himself.
And how do you explain the picture of Melissa and me? You said it yourself, we look the same.
Maybe
Jameson stammers, searching for an answer.
Photoshop?
It's the last picture we ever took together, before she was killed in the protest.
My wife is alive. She's...
He is back in his New York apartment again. It is earlier in the memory. The television is broadcasting the news, but the report is not about Minister Sheett's murder anymore. It is about a protest in the streets of New York below. The protest is heating up, and the riot police are moving in. Jameson's mobile chirps. He checks it.
I'm so tired. Can't you just wait another few hours? Come back to bed. Snuggle and snooze.
His wife asks.
Melissa, Ace are assembling. I've got to go, my love. I wish you would come. It's really heating up down there.
Jameson says, in this new and clearer version of his memory.
I'll join you later. I'll call.
Of course.
He leans in to kiss her goodbye. He pulls away. It is Penny's face. But not Penny's face. A more defined and mature-looking Penny. Penny's mother.
Be careful, Joshua.
She says. But in this version of his memory, even his own name feels aberrant. Melissa smiles. Penny's smile. Jameson breaks out of his memory for a moment. He gazes at Penny.
You have your mother's smile.
He whispers, as his own eyes begin to well up with tears.
Yes. Yes.
But if she is your mother,
Jameson says, tentatively pulling the carpet from under himself.
and she is my wife, then that must make me your...
Jameson is back in his apartment, inside his memory again. As he turns to leave his apartment, he catches sight of his reflection in the mirror. Only his clothes are wrong. Instead of a suit, he is dressed in black cargo pants and a black polo neck sweater. He looks up. It is not even his face anymore. And his heart sinks with an overwhelming fear when he recognises that face.
Then that must make you...
Penny says, distracting Jameson and reaching over and gripping his hand tightly.
my father.
Jameson lets out a vacant laugh as he disappears back into his memory. The man looking back at him in the mirror is Ace Ventura. His mind jumps to the memory of kissing Melissa goodbye. He pulls away.
Be careful, Ace.
She says.
Excuse me.
Jameson says, vacantly, getting up.
I have to go see a man. About a face. And a wife. And a life.
He stumbles back, tipping his chair, which clatters to the floor. A waiter notices and begins to approach.
Father, wait.
Penny says, getting up. But Jameson turns and makes a quick beeline to the exit.
Father, wait.
Penny tries to gather her jacket to follow him, but the waiter confronts her, demanding she pay their bill. After fumbling around in her purse, she throws a few notes down onto the table and hurries towards the exit. She rushes out into the street to see Jameson getting into a taxi.
Father!
She calls out and runs after him. But the taxi is already pulling away and does not stop.
Damn it!
Penny cries as she watches the vehicle drive away at speed. She turns and spins, searching up and down the street for another taxi, but there are none.
Damn it!
She cries again as she runs back into the restaurant to call a cab.